Start up that process. If you're attempting to work out, start it up now. If you're attempting to buy a property, start it up now. If you're attempting to find another job, start it up now. You don't know what is going to happen. Anyways, at the end of the day, if you start up now, compared to 4 months from now or 5 months from now, you'll get a lot more knowledge on what you have done within this 4-month period rather than starting off fresh. Now, many of us remember our first car. Our first car probably came straight off the lot. Some of us had cars that were probably a few years old. And there were some that had cars that they had to revive from the dead. And the last type of car was my type of car. I had to revive it from the dead. My dad and I purchased the vehicle for $500. We purchased it. We thought it was a good investment. We were going through fixing things up. There were some people that remember some minor defects on their vehicles, like you. Some of you probably didn't have your AC working. Some of you probably didn't have your radio working. Some of you probably didn't have your windows working. And some of you probably had cars that had minor like chips in the paint and dents in the car. I myself had a huge problem with my paint. It was like the character of the car was fading away. Many people that I knew called it 50 Shades of Gray just because there was so much discoloration in the paint. Now, I loved it. It was a car, it got me from point A to point B. I was rolling around, I was able to go through high school and just have my car and drive it to school. And I loved it as if it was my own. Until it started to put my life in danger. My car decided to randomly die whenever I would drive it. Now, it didn't matter what speed I was going at, it would cut off at any moment, and I would have to make the best decision and pull off to the side of the road so that way I didn't hit someone, hit something, or ultimately get rear-ended because my car would ultimately slow down and come to a stop. So most of the times when that would happen, I would pull over and I would sit there and try and crank the car over. Now, the car typically wouldn't crank over for some reason. There was some type of mechanical issue that wouldn't allow it to crank over. So typically I would have to sit there for like 20 minutes, 15 minutes, rubbing the car, hoping that it just catches and it takes off again and I could just get home. Now, as that would happen, the first time that it ever happened, I remember going back home and telling my mom, and my older brother was at home, and I said to him, like, this isn't safe. Like, how should I go about getting another vehicle? How should I go about getting a second car? Because of the fact that, like, I don't want to deal with this constantly. I said to my brother, I proposed the idea of me getting a loan. And my older brother was like, nah, you probably shouldn't get a loan. How about you just save up, and the money that you save up, you could outright buy a car and it's gonna be yours. Now, knowing me and knowing a lot of people, when somebody gives you advice, if it's not what you want to hear, it goes in one ear and out the other. So that ultimately happened to me. That information that he provided me with, even though I asked him to give me some ideas, came in my ear and literally left. So I went to work. I consistently was going to work and everything, not saving money, consistently blowing my money after the football games, after little outings with my friends, not giving a care because my car was still driving. It would die on me from time to time, but it was still drivable. Now, fast forward towards the beginning of my summer after graduation from high school. Now, I was driving my car going about 45 miles an hour. And as I'm driving, my car started to like act up and it started to do the same thing. But this time I was in the heat. My AC didn't work like I stated before. Also, my windows were rolled down, but if I rolled one of my windows down, then the odds of it going back up was slim. So I had basically like two windows rolled down, which was the two driver and passenger window. And I had to sit there and hope for my car to crank over. Now the temperature that day was about like 85 degrees. I'm sitting here sweating in the middle of the road, people coming out looking at me. I have my hazards on and I'm sitting here like, this is embarrassing. And mind you, I am literally a 5-minute drive away from my parents' house. So I'm almost there. I can't quite make it there. So some kind people came out and pushed my car off to the side of the road, and I sat there trying to crank it over, trying to crank it over, trying to crank it over. It wouldn't take, it wouldn't take, it wouldn't take. So I ultimately sat back in the car sweating, dripping in sweat, getting upset. And ultimately, after sitting there for 35 minutes, my car finally cranked over and it started. So after it started, I hurried up, put it in drive. I was like, I'm not giving the car another reason to shut down on me and me not being able to get home. I rushed home, got into the driveway, took the keys out, all upset. I stormed into my parents' house, upset, and my mom's looking at me. She's like, what's wrong? And I'm bursting out in tears. I am crying. She's on the phone with my dad. I am crying. I'm not happy. And I'm just like telling her I give up on the car. I don't want it no more. It sucks. It does this, it does this, it did that, it did this. I can't have it no more. I don't want it. So I am so in my head. I am upset that I walked to the bathroom and I'm calming myself down and I'm trying to gather myself. And then something dawned on me. About 10 months prior, my older brother was telling me to save my money. Now, 10 months later, I'm upset at the car because it's letting me down. But in all reality, I should have been upset with myself. I should have been upset with myself because I didn't take the proper steps to really put myself in a better position. I saw the troubles that was going on with my vehicle and my car, but I didn't want to take the steps to make sure that I got out that situation. And now for many of us, there are certain things in life that is going wrong for us. There are certain things in life that we're seeing that is not favorable to us, but we sit in that situation hoping for the best, knowing that we could take other steps and do other things to put ourselves in a better position. I could have done a lot more by saving my money, little by little, piece by piece, in order for me to get a better vehicle. So that way I could avoid having to sit in the side of the road for 30 minutes in the heat, sweating. And I could avoid me coming into the house upset. See, now, whenever some of your dreams don't pan out to what they need to pan out to, don't get upset with anybody else or any outside forces but yourself. You had the blueprint. Somebody told you how to get to where you needed to get to in order for you to be happy, in order for you to accomplish your dreams, but you tend to overlook it and put yourself in a predicament that is not favorable to you. Many of us act like the current situation that we are in, if we decide to change one thing, that it will be a lot worse than the current position that we are in currently. That one step that I didn't take in saving my money, just small chunks of my paycheck, putting it aside for a better vehicle, really hindered my process and hindered me with being able to see that it was all written out for me if I just would have taken that advice. Now listen, it is up to you. If you're waiting until the new year to start up on your new process, you never know if something bad may happen to you. Start up that process. If you're attempting to work out, start it up now. If you're attempting to buy a property, start it up now. If you're attempting to find another job, start it up now. You don't know what is going to happen. Anyways, at the end of the day, if you start up now, compared to 4 months from now or 5 months from now, you'll get a lot more knowledge on what you have done within this 4-month period, rather than starting off fresh when somebody else is already doing it. And it goes back to my story. If I would have started saving up 10 months ago, I probably would have had $1,000 saved up compared to me not having a single dollar saved up when it came time for me to get rid of my car. Listen, if you took anything of value out of this video, please make sure to leave a comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, or share this with someone. Because I know for sure there is someone out there who is waiting until the new year. There is someone out there waiting until everything is perfect, waiting until their stars are aligned perfectly in order for them to start off on their new journey. But I'm here to tell you, at any moment, things could go wrong. At any moment, things may not align the way you want it to align. Take the steps now, start up now, because 5 months from now, you don't want to say, geez, I'm starting at 0. 5 months from now, you want to say, geez, I've come a long way. I have $5,000 saved up. I have X amount of money saved up. I lost X amount of weight. Start now, continue on. This was Ignite. I hope you took something out of it.